Another movie review, and instead of reviewing one of the over 30 VHSs, I don't know the plural for videotape, I went to the theater and paid $9.50 for a matinee ticket. Let's talk about popcorn and an icy. $15.50. Outrageous, and it wasn't even the large size. So there's a movie that's nominated for Best Picture, and it looked interesting to me before it was even nominated, and I'd been meaning to get around to seeing it, and my buddy Steve and his wife were criticizing me for not just watching it at home on a streaming platform, but some movies are meant to be seen on the big screen. And I felt that this early 2022 release, which is now nominated for Best Picture, Everything Everywhere All at Once, was worth seeing on the big screen. Directed by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. If I'm butchering their last names, I apologize. They apparently are a directorial duo, per what I briefly read online. They'd done some music videos together, and I actually saw a 2016 release called Swiss Army Man that I believe was directed by Daniel Kwan, and maybe both of them. That movie had Daniel Radcliffe in it, and another actor who eludes me, but I do remember that Daniel Radcliffe played a corpse that kind of was semi-alive, and it was a totally bizarre movie. And Everything Everywhere All at Once is one of those movies that I don't think will appeal to everybody. I think that is a very cult classic type of film, and I feel like it's a darling for Best Picture. And in it, you see the triumphant return, just kind of like how Brendan Fraser had his triumphant return in The Whale, which was distributed by A24. This also was distributed by A24. And we see the triumphant return of Short Round, a.k.a. Ke Huy Quan. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, so I apologize. Tear me up in the comments if I'm wrong. This movie is about husband and wife. The wife is Evelyn, played by Michelle Yeoh, and Ke Huy Quan plays the husband Wayman, and then their daughter Joy is played by Stephanie Shih. And another key player in this film is Jamie Lee Curtis. She plays Deirdre, a typical IRS government bureaucratic employee, think DMV worker, but they all do a great job in their performance. But did I mention this movie was totally bizarre? 2 hour and 19 minute runtime. It came out in March of last year. Like I said, this movie will not have a broad appeal for everybody. It was absurd is the best term that I could use to describe this movie, both in like things that happen. I knew it was kind of like a science fiction multiverse movie, but I guess I have the concept of like all the Marvel movies, and this movie was just so bizarre, multi-dimensional, but also deep, very philosophical. So I did appreciate that. So basically it's about a husband and wife who they meet in China, and the Evelyn character's father is disapproving of their love and basically like says, "You're not my daughter anymore." And they go to America to start a new life, and they open a laundromat, and they live up above it in an apartment in the LA area. And they just kind of have this mundane life of living upstairs and running this laundromat. And the wife does all kinds of creative accounting to do tax deductions, and they get in trouble with the IRS, and it's like gonna foreclose on their business because of some shady things that she tried to claim as business related, which were also absurd. And like the husband tries to like get grace from the IRS, and her father is elderly and visiting from China and is very judgmental and disapproving, and the daughter is a lesbian, and the parents are like traditional Chinese, so the mother doesn't accept it. And it's just kind of going into this spiral of how your choices affect all these different scenarios. And I feel like the movie has like this underlying plot, like love and acceptance, but then also there's just a lot of really bizarre sexual deviant type of stuff scattered throughout it, which I won't get into it here, but it was just kind of crude and seemed, but I get why they were doing it, but I'll let you watch the movie and you can see for yourself. That part was just kind of like, okay, this is kind of gross and weird. But if you saw Swiss Army Man, that movie was kind of gross and weird too, and I feel like didn't have a wide appeal, but maybe that movie was like a big inside joke to a certain group of people. And I did enjoy Swiss Army Man. Looking back, it's been over 6 or 7 years since I saw it in theaters. But coming into this movie, I am looking past all the bizarreness and the absurdity, because it wasn't like a traditional movie. It was just kind of all over the place, and there was all these different changes and weird things going on, multiverse stuff. Spoiler alert, there's like this one multiverse where everybody has hot dogs for fingers, and it's just kind of laughable and weird. And there's another multiverse where they're rocks and human life never really got anywhere. But there's this everything bagel that's this evil dark force, because of the daughter of Evelyn and Waymond. Somehow this evil dark force of nihilistic tendencies and destruction was trying to destroy the multiverse, and then through tapping into the multiverse, she can use different alternate versions of herself to kind of defeat the evil. But I feel like this movie is about a mother and a daughter trying to accept and love each other and just trying to be a good person. There was like a really powerful line from the Waymond character where everything crazy is going on and he's just like, can't we just all be nice and love each other? Rodney King, can't we all just get along? So I recommend it. It's just kind of an out there movie, like I said many times throughout this review. I am going to give 4 out of 5 on this movie. Was it my favorite movie that I've seen? No. But did I laugh? Did I cry in the theater? Yes. And that is worthy of a 4 out of 5 for me. Rotten Tomatoes, 95%. IMDb, 8 out of 10. Google users, 84. So I'm kind of right in there in the mix with everybody else and how they feel about the movie. If you're like super conservative, you might not enjoy this movie because some of the bizarre sexual weirdness that happens. But if you kind of just want to see a very interestingly told story that's very original and just kind of, I feel like, a cult classic / inside joke, then you will love this movie and you'll probably be 5 out of 5. And the acting was good. And like I said, I laughed, I cried. It was just interesting. It was a very unique movie, and I feel like maybe that's why it's garnering a lot of Oscar buzz. All the acting was great. The humor was weird and very specific, but it's just a very unique story. So that's my take on Everything Everywhere All at Once. Comment down below. I want to hear what you think about the film, or if you think I'm off base about any of my opinions. Until next time, we will see you then.